You're listening to the Podcastle. I'm Matthew Clark, and I want to introduce first guest, Mr. Michael Tingle. How are you, sir?
Hello there.
I
Good to
was.
see you.
It's good to see you too. I was just saying to Mike, we talk a lot online about movies and stuff like that, but I haven't seen Mike probably 15, 20 years back when I lived in old Pennsylvania. So it's great to see you, man, and finally catch up.
Yeah, Bucks County represent.
Bucks County represent. We were just talking about films and movies and things like that because Michael, do you go by Michael or Mike?
Either way,
King
Mike,
Ting?
Michael, Ting.
Ting. I've seen every movie ever made. I think there's like silent era films that they lost that somehow you've still seen.
Yeah, I've it's funny. I grew up right driving with my parents, hanging out with my parents. So as I was growing up, listening to Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi, into like Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Nirvana and all that stuff, I was also listening to what I was being forced to listen to or watch,
Yeah.
and I never understood how people my age didn't have a basis of, like the Supremes or the Four Tops or Marlon Brando, because it was like, what were you watching? Like, what? Obviously, their parents didn't make them watch this stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
So,
A lot of it holds the test of time.
but it's funny. For Christmas, my parents always do this like a themed night with me and my two siblings and the rest of the family, my wife, my
Nice.
brother's wife, and all. And this year it was 100 years, 100 movies, and they turn it into a game and stuff. And of course, I know mostly everything because I know everything, and it
Yeah,
just
you're like
annoys.
the expert on it.
Right, and it just annoys my siblings. And I just look at them. I said, like, I've been telling you guys for decades to watch Turner Classic Movies. You don't. So when you don't know something from 1947, don't look at me.
It's funny too because I feel like a lot of that's so important, not only with movies but music as well. There's so many great flicks out there that are old or people probably wouldn't watch or a lot of people wouldn't watch because they're like, oh, it's from like the 40s or something. But I mean, honestly, one of my favorite movies, I have a poster over here, is It Happened One Night. I think it was made in 1932.
Oh, yeah.
The classic. It's a funny movie. It still holds up almost 100 years later. I mean, if you look at movies like Star Wars and stuff, people will still be watching that in 100 years. Like, it's important to visit these older films and, keep them alive.
And it's funny, because you get the black and white. Well, I'm not watching that. It's in black and white. It's like, just because it's in black and white doesn't mean it can't be risque or it can't be meaningful or still pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's funny looking back, and It Happened One Night, because we just look at it as, it's an old movie, Clark Gable and all. But, this is a movie that got a lot of heat in 1933 or 34, whenever it came out.
Oh, yeah.
For Claudette Colbert pulling up her skirt to get the ride.
Yeah, that was like going topless back then. That's like a big
right.
deal.
And now you look at it, it's like, it made waves. It made waves because of the censors and stuff at the time, and it was meaningful, and it still is.
Yeah.
Not to mention that the two leads are so dynamic in that film. So it's just fun. It's just fun cinema.
Oh yeah, it is. It is good cinema, and the chemistry between Claudette Colbert and Clark Gable, it's timeless, And a lot of those movies, like the screwball comedies, like Philadelphia Story, and a lot of the Katharine Hepburn one back in the day. I mean, they're still really funny. Like the humor holds up,
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes indirectly too, like A Christmas Carol. There's been 800 versions of it. I think we agree Scrooge, or I guess the official is A Christmas Carol, what they call it that. Alistair Sim's still the best one.
Oh yeah,
that's a classic. There's no argument, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny. Around here in Chalfont, they have that Buyer's Choice Museum, and Charles Dickens is like,
oh yeah,
I think it's his great grandson or nephew or some shit. He does like a one-man performance of it, like for a couple days a year, He took a couple of years off because of the COVID thing.
Right.
But I finally got a chance to see it this year. And he did like a questionnaire at the end and basically said that he
Oh
takes
wow.
something from, he watches every one.
Yeah.
Um, and if he's made known of another one, he'll add it to his list to watch. And then he tries to factor in something from everything into his performance.
Oh, what? That's amazing. That's incredible.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was, you know, everything from the Alistair Sim version to even like he was talking about the Muppets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
That's cool. There's
yeah, it
there's
was really
literally like
cool.
50 versions of it on film or in TV. It's insane. Jim Carrey did the one for Disney, I think it was a few years back.
Yeah, which still scares my daughter.
I think that's the scariest one. I don't think
It
it's the
is kind
best
of,
one, but it's scary.
yeah, it does have some visuals that are like, whoa.
Yeah, and what's cool about that one is it's faithful to the book. I mean, they all are to a degree, but that one
Hmm.
threw in a lot of stuff that a lot of the other ones overlook. It just like didn't fit for time or whatever. Uh,
Right.
but they added that in there. There's one from 1938. It has Reginald Owen in it, and
Yes.
I watched it as a kid. I went to UNAMI Middle School, and they like played this for us in 8th grade. And there's one scene. It's hilarious, but it's not supposed to be talking about like old films. And they bring Cratchit. They bring like a goose home, and Tiny Tim starts stroking the goose's neck, and he goes, "Oh, Father, look at the goose. Can I stroke it more? Can I stroke it, Father? Look at me stroke it." And all the kids are dying, and even some of the teachers are like, "What the fuck are we watching?" And I was like, "Give it a chance. Give it a chance." Like I was still like, it's a great story because I was like a big fan as a kid, of the
Right.
Disney one. So um, I was like, give it a chance. But it's funny when you look at those old movies.